And now, the conclusion to 10 80's VHS tapes. With a special encore 80's VHS tape. So, Cast Iron back here again. Sorry we got cut off there. Bad connection, I suppose. So we were talking about Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And how I had seen this in the theaters. And I had been waiting eagerly for the third movie. We were talking about Princess Leia's bikini, Jabba the Hutt, Darth Vader. Now, I don't believe we found out what Leonard Moulton has to say from his 2009 movie guide. But, as I suggested, Leonard Moulton likes to suck up to George Lucas. So let's see where the bookmark lies. We've got French-Canadian Archie here, and he's talking to his Papa. Oh, it looks like he's exhausted here. The French cry, aïe, mais jambes avec better. Sorry for the horrible French pronunciation. Alright, Return of the Jedi. Here we go. Mr. Leonard gives it 3.5 stars. Now let's hear his praise. What he says is, third installment in the Star Wars saga is a sheer delight, following the destiny of Luke Skywalker. That guy. Who doesn't know Luke Skywalker? Mr. George Hamill. No, it's not George Hamill. Is his name George? You know, Mark Hamill. Is there a George Hamill? George Hamilton. I think he's the guy who always has the permanent tan. Who's like a talk show guy or something. So, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. We're following his destiny. And his comrades reunite to combat a powerful Death Star. Some routine performances are compensated by ingenious new characters and Oscar-winning special effects. More sentimental and episodic than its predecessors, but carried out in the best tradition of Saturday matinee serials, from which it draws its inspiration. This too is the original VHS copy before they made their changes. I think he even says here that special edition released in 1997 features enhanced effects and 4 minutes of additional footage. Not in this one. This is the copy you just can't see anymore unless you have this. Or like maybe, I don't know if it was still on Betamax then. I don't think so. I think Betamax was done by 1983? 1983? Really? Yeah, I guess so. Alright. Return of the Jedi. One time for Christmas, I got a Return of the Jedi comic book. And a complaint that I would have as a kid is if things were too fake. Oh, that's so fake. Oh yeah, that movie wasn't scary at all. It was so fake. Anyway, in the comic, is even here. I can't believe they don't have Boba Fett on the front cover, because Boba Fett falls into that pit. And in the comic book, he got spit out because he was such a cool character. I was like, oh, that's so fake. That didn't happen in the movie. Curious, actually, because I did watch the Boba Fett TV series they made for the Disney Channel. No, Disney, whatever, Disney Plus. And he did, in fact, get pulled out of that pit because he was just too cool to keep dead. So, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, it says in here, they made 2 TV movies after this, starring the Ewoks. And then there was an Ewoks cartoon. I had an Ewoks bed spread and bed sheets. And Ewoks on my wallpaper. The only Ewok toy I had, I didn't have, I think his name was Wicket. I had the taller one, and he was like the medicine man. And I think, like, I even had it till, it was kicking around for quite a while. So, yeah, it was followed by 2 Ewok adventures for TV, and the prequel Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And that's it. That's all we've ever heard from Star Wars. So, go check it out at your local video store if they still exist in your area. All right, so Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And now the last of the 10 1980s video cassettes is one of my favorites. Some Kind of Wonderful. Because she's some kind of wonderful. Yes, she is. A John Hughes production. Again, one of my favorites from the 80s. Let's see if I can do it. That's Leah Thompson. What's her name? And Eric Stoltz. The man who got fired from Back to the Future. She kept her job in Back to the Future. What was her name? Oh man, I like this movie. I thought, oh, he's so cool. This is another one. I Believe in California. He's the poor kid. She's the poor girl. He wants her, but she's rich. And he literally, I remember, lived on the other side of the tracks. Let's see. Some Kind of Wonderful. 1987. He was an artist. And, when I was a kid there, I fancied becoming an artist. Think everyone over 17 has forgotten what it's like to be 16? Filmmaker John Hughes hasn't. Now Hughes delivers another funny, savvy, crowd-pleasing look at adolescence in the story about high school misfit Eric Stoltz from Mask. That movie starred a super famous singer. Now I can't remember her name. That was a good movie. Who falls head over heels for the senior class siren that he's blind to the charms of his beautiful and devoted best pal, Mary Stuart Masterson, from Fried Green Tomatoes. I never saw that one. It's kind of like Archie. He even has the red hair. He's chasing after the rich Veronica when the nice blonde who is super good looking herself pines after him. Oh, Archie, when will you learn? I mean, Eric Stoltz. So, yeah, I like this movie. He gets detention. I haven't seen this in like quite some time, but he gets detention, and then because he's doodling in his books in detention. I think. Anyway, I used to always doodle in my books, and then there's like the stoner guy in detention who's real tough, and he is the actor who played Casey Jones in the first live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. And he's really kind of scary and tough. But then when he's drawing, and then Casey Jones looks over his shoulder at his drawing, which I think is of Leah Thompson. He's like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then he lifts up his desk. He's like, oh, picks up his desk to show Eric Stoltz his drawing that he'd been carving into his wooden desk with his switchblade knife. And I can't remember what it was, probably a dagger or a skull or something like that. So, let's see what old Leonard Maltin has to say. I do have it bookmarked. I was having issues with the bookmarks. But here we are. This should be some kind of wonderful. Did it fold it? Alright, some girls do. Some call it loving. Some like it hot. Some kind of wonderful. 2.5 stars. Leonard Maltin gives it 2.5 stars. What did he have to say? I bet he's going to say that it's self-serious. Is that what he was? His line? Adorable tomboy, Masterson loves Stoltz, but it takes him the entire film to realize she is better for him than the flashier Thompson. Dooch and producer John Hughes have in effect done a sex switch remake of their own Pretty in Pink. The okay result has strong performances by both female leads and surprises by not making Thompson a snooty bitch. So there we go. That was the 1080 movies. And yeah, we had an issue with stuff. Oh, look at this one. This isn't the encore, but it's a little bit of an encore. I just grabbed the 80s. Here we have. This was in my initial pick. Get ready for the ride of your life. Total Recall, Schwarzenegger. I'm totally going to recall you. But then when I was looking this up, I was looking it up in the old Leonard Maltin's movie guide, I realized it wasn't an 80s movie at all. It was from 1990. Look, it's still in the plastic. I mean, you can pull it out. Total Recall. One time in my English class, we had a substitute. I think it was near the end of the year, grade 10, something like that. And we got to rent a movie. And they're like, "What do you want to rent?" We're like, "Oh, let's get Total Recall." And we were all watching it, and all the kids, like, we'd seen it before, and we were all waiting for the scene with the topless alien scene with the 3 breasts. And then it was pretty funny when we saw that in class. Maybe for fun. Let's see how shiny it is and clean once I remove this. I used to like doing this when I was a kid. Remove the plastic packaging off of a toy. Oh, it would be so much more rich in color. I'm totally going to recall you. All right. So that was one I was going to pick, but is actually from 1990. And now, for an encore 1980s VHS, which is not a movie at all, which you could only purchase, I don't know, off the TV or something. Can you guess? It's sports. It's 80s. It's WrestleMania 3. You had to order straight from Coliseum Video presents the official World Wrestling Federation, WWF, WrestleMania 3. Bigger, better, badder. This, of course, the main event, Hulk Hogan, the World Heavyweight Champion, against undefeated for 15 years, Andre the Giant. I did not order this. I did not pay the special price of $54.95, but I did watch it, and I watched it back in the day. Actually, it's kind of got a box like the old Disney animated movies. Here we go. Be kind. Please rewind. Looks like it's got some stuff spilt on it. It does work. I have watched it. Wrestling, WWF was so popular at this time, and when this main event came out, that even if you could not, where was it? It was in New York City. It had the biggest. Oh man, it had like the biggest attendance ever. It was a world record. Piper versus adorable Adrian Adonis. Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. A humiliation match. The Junkyard Dog versus Harley Race. King Harley Race. So it was so popular that you could go to a Coliseum, you could get tickets and go to a Coliseum where there'd be people in the stands watching giant video screens of the event live. And holy cow, we had tickets. And then, sadly, the day we were so excited, oh my goodness, me and my brother, gonna go see the WWF. And the day that it was going to happen, then my mom's like, oh no. I'm like, oh, what? She's like, oh no. And they had read the tickets wrong. And we thought it started later. And it was probably because of the time change, and we were always hearing, on the TV, on the wrestling, oh, it starts at such and such time. But that was probably East Coast, and we were West Coast. So we totally missed it. And it was so disappointing. I couldn't even talk about it with friends. They were like, oh, how was it? Because they all knew I was going to WrestleMania 3. It almost brought a tear to my eye. But years later, I got the video cassette. And we did go out for dinner. We did go into Vancouver. We weren't going to make it. That's where we were seeing it. And we ended up going to a movie, which was so disappointing compared to thinking we were going to go see WrestleMania. And the movie we saw was Jumpin' Jack Flash with Whoopi Goldberg, which I don't think is a very good movie. Or maybe it was just the disappointment of not seeing that. I wonder what Leonard Maltin thinks of Jumping Jack Flash. I bet he gives it 2.5 stars. All right, well, that's the conclusion. And thank you for sticking around and catching the last bit of the 80s VHS. And the encore Hogan, Andre the Giant. So.